What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Elden Ring walkthrough. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. We are about to fight the fire giant, who you fight right here in this area. He is the main boss of this region. Before we do that, I'm actually going to warp to the First Church of Berica. There's some dialogue that we can trigger with Melina, and it is about to, it delves into what we're about to do. So it is somewhat important. So I want to make sure that I get it here.
Spoken echoes of Queen Marika linger here as well. Shall I share them with you? In Marika's own words, hark, brave warriors. Hark, my lord Godfrey. We commend your deeds. Guidance hath delivered ye through each ordeal to the place ye stand. Put the giants to the sword and confine the flame atop the mount. Let a new epoch begin, an epoch glistening with life. Brandish the Elden Ring for the age of the Erd Tree. We're almost there. The flame of ruin lies just ahead. I'm glad it was you I traveled with. I must tender my thanks to Torrent, too. Thank you, Torrent. Please continue to lend your aid. Till the end.
Alrighty, so let us warp back to where we were, and we're going to go fight the fire giant. So we are about to do what needs to be done for us to become the Elden Lord, or at least a crucial step for us to undertake. So we're going to head is right here. You see this chain that connects. I believe if you go to this chain, you can summon Alexander. I don't want to summon anybody for this fight because it increases the boss's HP. We'll be just fine. Actually, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back from Black Knife Tish to my Mimic. And that means that I can adjust my Wondrous Flask concoction as well. So I'm going to take this off here, and then I'm going to put on the Spike Crack tier to boost. No, I want the... this one makes more likely to break enemy stances is the one that I want. There we go. So I will summon my Mimic for this fight. I will not be summoning Alexander. Because if you summon NPCs, as I've said before, it increases the boss's HP pool. If you summon your spirits, it has no impact on the boss's HP pool. So we are about to fight the fire giant, ladies and gentlemen. So what I recommend is just charge straight at him. He's right there in front of us. And if he shoots a big wave of snow at you, you can dismount to try to get the iframes. So once we're next to him, I'm going to dismount, call my Mimic, heal up. And so this ankle here, his left ankle has a brace on it. That's his weak spot. So you bust that brace open, and you're going to be able to do insane amounts of damage to his leg. So definitely triggered his weak point there. And he moves pretty quickly. He rolls away. You can mount your horse to close the gap. Or in this case, I'm just running to him. I'm gonna do most of the second phase mounted. And again, just focus on that ankle. That's his weak point, and you know he hits for big HP. He has a lot of these AoE fire attack type stuff that he does. He summons these fireballs that explode, and he hits you with that shield of his, and that does pretty insane damage, as you can see. Probably more than half my HP, but kind of just take the hits if you must, and heal when you get the chance. And I'm actually gonna summon my horse to get closer to him because he keeps getting away from me. I might do the rest of this phase mounted as well. So I'm just gonna stay next to that ankle, and then he's gonna trigger the second phase pretty shortly here. I did get hit by those flames, unfortunately. Ow. There we go. Mimic got him to second phase here. Well, that takes care of his bum leg. As I said, I like to fight him in the second phase on horseback. He does a lot of this fire AoE stuff, similar to his first phase. You just want to stay away from those things that shoot out of the ground. Here he's shooting giant fireballs out of his like torso. I just like to run away from him when he does this, and then I'll come back in. I think technically his hands are his weak point at this point in time, but if you focus on his hands, you're taking on a lot of risk because he can smash you with his hands. So I do like to stay more towards his ankles. And he has an insane amount of HP, not gonna lie. But as long as you focus on getting hits in when you can, then you should be all right. And again, I do like to do the second phase mounted, because he moves around a lot and you're a lot more mobile with your horse. And so I like to stay behind him. Since he's down, I'm going to do a special. Try to get as much damage to him in a short amount of period as possible. I'm going to get back on my horse in just a second here. And Mimic is gone. That is just fine. We'll finish him off right here. There we go. That is the fire giant, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to lie, this boss is tough. It took me a few tries my first playthrough. We got the trophy. We got the remembrance. It can be a tricky boss fight, not going to lie. Alrighty, so we got the grace here, 209,000 runes. I'm going to go ahead and spend all that. So I'm going to split, as I said, between mind and endurance. I'm going to pop some runes to get the next level. Let's see. Is that enough? It is enough. Okay, put this one into endurance. And now that's where we're headed, up to the forge. And this is a major event in the game. If there's other stuff you want to wrap up, namely some side quests, things like that, I would do that before doing this. Make sure also that you have gotten the Bolt of Gransax from the capital. To get that, you're going to want to warp here, I believe, to the Erdtree Sanctuary. And you're going to want to come down around here. And the Bolt of Gransax is on this giant metal thing sticking out right here from this walkway. Eventually, it might be after you do this, but it might not be till after we beat the next area that we're going to do that you get locked out of being able to get it. But I'd say go ahead and just get it now because it is missable. And if you miss it now and you want the trophy, you're going to have to come back in New Game Plus to get it. So I would recommend doing it now because we are about to do something major here. So. All the way around, there's going to be a site of grace over here. And now we can talk to Melina again.
I have long observed the lands between. This world is in dire need of repair and death. Indiscriminate. Are you prepared to commit a cardinal sin? Very well. Let my hand rest upon you.
And you have to do this to beat the game, guys. This is not an option. This is required for progression. So I know it sounds like you're doing something like that can break the game, but this is a requirement.
tree, you shall burn. Burn for the sake of the new Lord. Thank you for guiding me here. The one who walks alongside flame shall one day meet the road of destined death. Goodbye.
All right, we get a trophy for that. The Erd tree is officially on fire. Okay, so we have arrived at Crumbling Ferrum Azula. We got a sneak peek of this place from the 4 belfries, which took us right here. We got to see this place from afar. But now this is the next big dungeon that we're going to have to get through. We can't warp out of here. I am going to warp out of here, but we can't do that until we unlock the first Site of Grace. So I'm going to do that. And then the next thing we're going to do is take on Castle Soul, which is the last area that we have in Mountaintop of the Giants. All right, so right in front of us, you got a Smithing Stone 8, and then you just drop on right down here. Pick up the Gold Rune 9. So there's probably at least 2 or 3 episodes worth of stuff in here. So we're going to be in this place for a while, but we're going to do this place. We're going to at least start this place for real in the next episode. But for now, we just got to get that first Site of Grace. So we will be doing that. Now, there are a bunch of these beasts down here. Really, only 1 or 2 of them are going to aggro to you. These other ones are just kind of chilling. All right. There's another one that's angry at us. Pick up this item. And then right through here is going to be our Site of Grace. So once you unlock the Site of Grace, you can warp out of here. All right. So we're going to head straight back to here. So you see, look at this guidance of grace. It is pointing us towards Castle Soul. So that's why I consider Castle Soul part of the story path, because the game is sort of pointing us here. This is where we're going to get the second half of the Howling Tree Medallion. I think the capital is still active. So if you haven't gotten that Bolt of Grandsax yet, you should still be able to get it. But you definitely will not be able to get it after we beat this area. So once we're done with here, you're not going to be able to go back to the capital to get that. So I'd say if you haven't gotten it yet, get it now. What we're going to do now is actually going to warp back to the Bestial Sanctum, because we have a couple of death roots that we have to give to Garank that we didn't do in the last episode. So I'm going to just make a quick pit stop real quick to do this. Give them both death roots. So you get Garank's Beast Claw, and we get the Beast Claw Great Hammer. So there's one more death root that we have to give him. And we're going to get that in a little bit. Not in this episode, but... So now you see the round table hold is on fire, and that's because we lit the Erd tree on fire. And let's see. I don't think there's really... Can I upgrade my weapon? I'm just going to check real quick. I can't take my black bow up, so I'm going to do that. And I'm going to check to see if I can upgrade my katana. Nope. I need three more smithing stone ace, which I do not have. We did get the remembrance of the fire giant. And now that this place is on fire, the finger maiden is going to have not so pleasant words for us.
You've done it, I see. What use do you have for me now? I am a finger reader. I will remain here until their dialogue ends and the fingers speak again. Do as you please. Take whatever course seems most worthy to you. Now you may go. You'd force this tired old crone to work, even now. Harder taskmaster have I never met.
Okay, so we can receive power from the remembrance. So here's one for the fire giant. You can get a whip or this incantation, which is the one that he did where it created that massive AoE around him where those fires were spiking out of the ground. I think it's a pretty powerful spell. I don't know how useful it would be in different situations, but you can pick it up if you want. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on and buy something. I need to buy Radahn's armor. And this, I'm going to need this to advance Bock's side quest. We're not going to do that now, but I am going to need that for his side quest. So let's see here. Let us warp back here, and then we're going to take on Castle Sol. All right, guys, so we are here right outside of Castle Sol. So in order to get there, you actually kind of have to swing around this way to then hop down and then circle back around this way, because the reason for that is this cliff that we're on right now is too steep to drop down directly off of. So we're going to have to take kind of a big loop around to get down there. So Castle Sol is important for a number of reasons. For one, I do consider it part of the story path because you see we do have our guidance of grace that points us there, and that is sort of is my definition for what is considered story content of this game versus what is considered side content. So for 2, we're going to get a legendary armament in here. For 3, we're going to get the other half of the Halig Tree Medallion, which is going to allow us to access this secret part of the map. And also the boss of this area gives us a trophy. So there are many, many, many reasons for us to go about doing this area. And it is somewhat of a, it's not as big as like, you know, the main dungeons of the game, but it's one of the larger kind of castle or fort type dungeons that we've done several of so far. So we got a mausoleum over here. You can bring it down to duplicate a remembrance if you'd like. We're gonna get this site of grace right here for starters. I don't have anything that I want to duplicate, but if you want to duplicate, this is a pretty standard one. You just have to defeat the little bubbles on its feet. Before we go in, we're gonna circle around the side of it. There's a couple of things we're gonna pick up before we go in. Get up over here. So also in here, there's another painting. I know I said when we got our 6th painting that was the last one. I misspoke. There's actually a 7th painting that we get inside of here. So we're going to get that. And the solution to it is actually pretty close by. Also, at the end of this episode, we're going to close out Bock's side quest, because in the next episode, we're going to start Crumbling Fair and Azula. And once you get past that area, Bock's, you're pretty much locked out of the end of Bock's side quest. So we're going to go ahead and knock that out as well. Just a bit ago, we picked up Radahn's armor, which we're going to need in our inventory, because we're going to need a demigod armor in our inventory, which of course Radon qualifies for, because in order to give him the gold needle, which is required for his side quest, you have to have a demigod's armor set in your inventory at that time, and then that'll allow us to give him the gold needle and then progress his side quest forward. So we got a somber 8 right there, and this spits us out right at that site of grace. So when we walk inside the castle, we are greeted by 2 of those giant lion enemies. So once we step foot inside the door, I'm going to summon my mimic, and hopefully we'll be able to 1v1 both of these. It is really difficult when you got both of them on you at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and start shooting with some arrows, get him over here, get that first one going. And you can sort of bottleneck him through this gate. He's not going to come outside this gate. His frost breath, however, can still hit you outside the gate. So if he does his frost breath, you're going to kind of want to back up a bit and make sure that it doesn't kill you. And then Mimic doing work. So I'm going to wait for him to kind of get back here, because I don't want him I don't want the second one to also come after me. And it actually despawned. Oh, going outside the gates like I just did actually despawn my Mimic, but that's fine. I think I can do this solo here. Yeah, try not to back up too much, because if you do, then your Mimic's gonna go away. Or he's doing the breath again. So you can hop over here to the side, and then that'll allow you to be out of the path of the breath, but you'll be close enough to where you won't despawn your Mimic. So just be a little bit more careful than I was just then, and you should still have your Mimic or whatever summon you're choosing to use. All right, first one down. Unfortunately, these do not respawn as usual. So once we get these things down, I'm actually going to rest at the site of grace and get my flasks back. There we go. All right, so they're both down. And I'm going to rest up, get my stuff back, because these things will not respawn, and it'll allow me to get everything back that I need. All right. So I'm actually going to use the Blasphemous Blade in here, just because I like this weapon, and the health regen is pretty nifty. Okay, so we're going to pick this up. Rune item. And over here under this platform is going to be another item. This is the way up that you can use to progress through this castle, but in doing so, you're going to miss out on a couple of items. And the path that we're going to take is actually going to spit us out over there anyway. But this is going to give us some extra loot. So we're going to take this path instead. So go up these stairs. Go all the way to the end here. There's going to be an item kind of waiting for us underneath this bridge. And up those stairs, it's going to be a big hole there, but eventually we're going to trigger an elevator that comes down there, and that's going to be a shortcut to the boss of this area. Again, this boss is required for a trophy, and in here there's going to be a bunch of slugs. And so we're not going to trigger that. We're not going to trigger that elevator till literally the very end. So these slugs you don't technically have to kill, but they can be in your way if you don't. So we're going to climb up. We want to climb up this ladder here. And this part is a bit tricky, but this is the way to the painting that we want to get, so we're going to do it. All right, so on this narrow walkway, there's going to be an enemy that spawns. A lot of these enemies are like ghosts, and they can teleport, which makes them really tricky to fight. You want to lure him over here because he can knock you off the edge, and so fighting him over here kind of prevents him from doing that. So we got a guy over here throwing fire bombs at us, which is nice. And down here, we got a guy on like a ballista crossbow that shoots these bolts that they hit you, they hurt, and then also they blow up when they sit there for a second and then they blow up. So to get past him, you want to kind of roll through him, get over to this guy, jump attack him real quick. And then the problem is there's another guy firing from that direction. You see, I just got hit by more. And so it's like double trouble. So what we want to do is we want to wait for this guy to fire. And then once he fires, run straight down this bridge. And then you'll be out of range for him. Take care of this guy. This guy throwing the fire pots at us. And then take care of this guy once he spawns. Where is he? Surely he didn't disappear. He should be one that spawns in and out. I don't know why he's not coming back. Normally he comes back, but... All right, got a smithing 6. Drop down here. And here's our painting. And this unlocks just kind of a little shortcut. There's a sleeping dog out here. Go on and take him out. And we're going to climb back up the ladder because there's another piece of loot that we want to grab. So that hawk enemy that we just spawned, want to jump up here, and you can kill him from up here. I suggest that's what you do because it is much easier to fight him up here than it is to fight him down on the ground. And he is, not cooperating with me. Maybe jump attacks will work better. Oh, he just fell to the ground. I'm going to quit out and reload to reset his position. It is much easier to kill him on this side of the wall than it is to fight him on the ground. This will not respawn anybody by quitting and reload, but it will reset the enemy positions. And so I'll get another stab at taking this guy out on top of the wall. And this guy did respawn too. It reset him as well. So take him out. But none of those other people should have respawned. So up here, trigger the hawk, do jump attacks. I did want to jump over that wall anyways. This was the next thing that I was going to do. I didn't mean to do that while I was fighting him, but it worked out that I jumped over this wall anyways, because we want to pick this up, Stormhawk Axe, and then we will drop right on down. There's a couple dogs down here, and this is right by where we were let out when we got that painting. Let's get this one. Before we proceed, we're going to hook back around here. And so you remember that platform at the beginning of the level? I said that you can go on up for progression, but there was some other stuff that we want to pick up first. That's what that is right there. But if you go up this way, you're going to miss out on that painting that we just picked up. Because that door that we unlocked after we got the painting is locked from this side. So you won't be able to get in from this way. All right, got those. So now here's where things get a bit more tricky. We're going to fight some pretty tough enemies. But as long as you're careful, you should be able to take them out. So get these guys. Got a guy sniping you from above. Before we go over there, we're going to go over here for some rune 10s. There's going to be a couple other enemies that spawn. And what I suggest doing, there's going to be a Banished Knight that spawns here. And these are pretty tough to get. So what I suggest doing for starters is kind of lure him over here. Run past him. And there's a Site of Grace right here. Don't rest at this Site of Grace. Just trigger it. And you'll respawn here if you die. And now we're going to fight this guy. We'll fight him back over here. And the fact that he teleports and the fact that all of these enemies teleport make them really tricky to fight. Here we go. So a combination of R1s and jump attacks are my go-to. These other guys we can take out with one jumping heavy, so that's pretty solid. Don't miss this ladder right here. It is very easy to miss. But there's extra stuff. There's going to be a Banished Knight with a halberd that we fight at the end of this path, but also at the end of this path is going to be a stone sword key. All right, another rune. So across this bridge are going to be some giant wolves. We're going to take those out with our bow before going over there to fight the Banished Knight, because we don't want to be fighting the Banished Knight, the halberd Banished Knight, while also fighting these wolves. That's just a recipe for disaster. Oh, now he's moving around. So there we go. Trying to take him out before moving forward. But he's not sitting still and cooperating with me. There he goes. Might just have to aim manually. Come on. Oh, how did that miss? There we go. Now we can fight our banished knight in peace. Which is important because this guy hits really hard. Definitely don't want to be fighting him with those dogs around us. And this guy's got poise. He's got some pretty solid poise. And these teleports, man, are confusing. All right, took him out. So you see how tough he is. We definitely don't want giant wolves in the vicinity while we're trying to fight him. All right, so up here is our stone sword key. And we're going to backtrack on foot. We could warp, but that will reset the enemies. It'll also reset your flasks, but it will reset the enemies at the same time. So if you need to reset your flasks, by all means do so. But it'll make our lives a little bit easier having these enemies that we've already killed out of the way. All right, so straight ahead, don't miss this. We have a little ghost here. We'll read his dialogue. It says, "Oh, great sun, frigid son of soul, surrender yourself to the eclipse. Grant life to the soulless bones." This is the eclipse shuttle. You definitely want to pick this up because this is a legendary armament that is going to be required for the trophy. This shuttle does death damage, which really only is useful in PvP type encounters. Most enemies in the single player game are resistant to death. So this way is quite possibly the trickiest part of this castle. So you're going to up this ladder, going to have guys shooting at you, which not the biggest threat as long as you stay on the move. Most of them are going to miss you. You might get hit once or twice, but for the most part, not the biggest deal. We'll deal with that guy later. For this part, I'm going to throw on the Bloodhound's Fang because we're about to fight a really tough enemy, and I'm just more comfortable with the Bloodhound's Fang and its moveset. So I'm going to use this for this encounter. We're about to fight a version of Oleg, which is actually a spirit summon that we have access to, and he's down there. My preferred way of dealing with him is rushing in and seeing if I can get an attack really quick before he transforms, then just trying to stun lock him. And yeah, he did warp on me, but that's fine. So I need to get away and heal because you see how hard this guy hits. It is ridiculous, and he can one-shot you with that attack. Ugh. I need to get away and heal. And if he comes after me, I'm going to Bloodhounds him. Which is why I wanted to use this weapon for him, because it is much easier. Because the Bloodhound's finesse is much easier to hit him than the special of the Blasphemous Blade. Because this one takes too long to wind up, and usually he can transform before it hits. Or not transform. Usually he can warp before it hits, and so you try to do the special with this thing and it'll miss. So we got the Cerulean Amber Medallion 1. I mean, this is a totally optional encounter, and that's your reward. So leave it to you to decide if you even want to go through this. That guy is really tough. You saw how lethal he is. So I'll leave it to you to decide if you want to even do that. On a normal playthrough, I would not be going for that because I am not going to be using that talisman. And the risk reward is way too heavily weighted towards the risk. Not very much reward in my opinion. So now we can go down here. And if you drop down here, there's going to be a bunch of rats in there. There's actually the easier way in my opinion is to jump over here. You can jump on top of this table and then jump up here and get this guy and then just drop down. And if for whatever reason, if you have trouble hopping over that wall like I just did, you can still drop down the ladder and get to the same spot. I just find it easier to approach this area from this side than from jumping on the ladder. Because you drop down the ladder, these rats in here are all going to bum rush you. And this way you can kind of force one-on-one encounters by forcing them through the door first. Because these rats will kill you if you're not careful. There's a bunch of them in here. And they're all going to attack you at once if you just drop down this ladder. So, all right, got a smithing 7 in here. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to climb back up the ladder and circle around. Alternatively, you could warp to the site of grace, but again, I'm trying not to respawn the enemies because we killed both of these archers, and these archers are going to be in the way of the next item that I'm going to try to get. Let's see. So, let's see. That's where we just were. So if we drop down here, this is where we fought Oleg just a minute ago. And if you chose not to fight him, you can still make that jump and climb this ladder, and he'll still probably be facing that other direction and won't aggro on you. So now we're going to drop down this ladder. And the reason why I didn't want to respawn these archers is because they'll be shooting at us while we try to do this if they're there. So jump up on this wall over here. You can drop down right here. There's a secret piece of loot. So now I'm just going to warp to the side of grace. Because otherwise I would have had to have dropped down and walk all the way back around. And we're not going... Everything we've done is done. We're not going back that way. So the fact that we've killed all these enemies already isn't going to be a problem for us. All right, so in here, crouch right when you walk in. And you're going to want to shoot this guy kind of sitting up on a chair. And you're going to kill him. Because if he sees you, he's going to shout. And when he shouts, it summons a ton of monsters. And you see we got these guys down here as well. It's easiest just to kill them from afar because they'll run up and try to grab you. And there's 3 of them, and all 3 of them at the same time is bad news. So there's 1 left. There he is. So up here we got an item, and there's another guy sitting on a chair up here that you want to take out. Because again, if he sees you and hollers, he's going to summon a bunch of enemies, and much easier just to take him out preemptively and not have to deal with that. So, all right, so here we are at the boss, guys, and this is the elevator that you can trigger for the shortcut in case you die. Additionally, this is another way. Remember when we, that's where we fought the first Spanish Knight. Remember we went up that ladder to access this area. If you didn't do that before, you can just jump over this wall and also have access to that area. This is the spot that took us over to the stone sword key that was over there. Little tip for this boss. I'm going to be using, again, my Bloodhound's Fang just because it's going to be easier for me to fight him just because I'm more comfortable with this weapon in general and the weapon art and whatnot. So he's going to summon as soon as you get inside the fight. So we're going to summon as well. His summons are actually susceptible to an item called Bewitching Branches. And what that'll do is that will take his summons and then they'll fight against him as well. So Bewitching Branches basically confuse enemies and they make them attack, you know, friendly. It makes them attack other enemies, basically. So do I have... Yeah, they're my Bewitching Branches. So we can actually craft these as well if you don't have them. They can be crafted. Let's see. Where are they? Where are the Bewitching Branches? I thought I had the cookbook to craft these things. There they are. So you can craft them with Sacramental Buds and Michaela's Lilies. The way that you get the cookbook is, remember when we did this side quest down here with Vari? And he gave us, he was over here at the Rose Church. And he gave us, when we did his side quest, he gave us an item called the Pure Blood Knight's Medal, and this warped us to an underground area where I showed you where the good farming spot was. It warped us down here. So if you go down here in this area, all you have to do is visit it. You don't have to really do anything in here, and then you go back and then you talk to Gideon and Round Table Hold. Gideon will give you the cookbook that you need to craft the Bewitching Branches. If you do not have the Bewitching Branches, though, there's actually some you can pick up in the environment down here in the Weeping Peninsula. If you warp right here, Church of the Pilgrimage, and you go down here around this cliffside all the way in the back, there's going to be some that we picked up. And I think those are the ones that I have in my inventory currently. So I am going to be using the Bewitching Branches to confuse his spirit summons to make them attack him. And just so you can follow, that's how you would get them yourself if you do not already have them in your inventory. So right when I get in, I'm going to summon Mimic. I'm also going to heal up, get my health back. and then I'm gonna take my bewitching branches out, and then I'm gonna try to get these on his summons. So to do that, you have to hold down the use item button to get them to trigger. So hold down the button, and you see that just took effect on him, and so I'm gonna get his other one now as well. So it takes a second. You have to hold down the button for just a second for it to take effect. Actually, I don't think the first one took because I still have 3 in my inventory. So it does take a second for them to take effect. And it does. You are unfortunately vulnerable to attack while you're doing it. Nope, didn't get it off. My poor Mimic is having a bad time. There we go. Finally got it on him. Yeah, my Mimic is dead now, but now you see both of them are actually fighting the boss. And if you do it quickly enough, your summon should still be alive. So I'm gonna have to more or less solo the boss after he kills his summons. You see he's got these AoEs that take up like the entire arena. So while he's distracted, I'm gonna work on him. I just got frostbitten. That's okay. The second phase, he adds lightning to his repertoire. He's got his little peg leg that he electrifies. And ideally, at this point, you'll still have your Mimic. If you don't want to use Bewitching Branches, you need to prioritize killing the summons first. And your Mimic will help you with doing that. I kind of messed up the Bewitching Branches. I didn't activate them quickly enough. I had too much trouble activating them. And you see, this guy can clear the arena almost instantly. So, and he has AoEs that take up a very wide radius. And that lightning peg leg, oh my gosh. You said you saw how much damage that thing did. Good Lord. All right, well, we're going to try him again. And I'm going to craft a couple more Bewitching Branches and hopefully be a little bit more successful with getting them off earlier in the fight. So I'm going to do some crafting real quick. We're gonna give this another go. And these guys, I'm just gonna run straight through to the boss. I'm not gonna worry about killing the. You'll see what he summons, but see, he summons these guys, and there's a bunch of them. But I'm just running straight to the boss. And hopefully, I'll have better success with the Bewitching Branches in this case. Okay, got his summons off. So you kind of have to hold the use item button to get them to go off, and it can be tricky because they're all these summons are also trying to attack you. But you want to wait till the end of their combo, and it still didn't get it off though. Let's see if my Mimic starts fighting one of them. Where is my Mimic? Oh, there he is. There we go. There we go. Got the first one. And are both of his summons down? I think they are, which is kind of the main thing that we're going for is getting both of his summons out of the picture. So now that both of his summons are out of the picture, we can focus on him. And Mimic is taking the aggro off of me pretty solid, so. Now that he's still in the fight, this is going to be a much easier fight. Wait till the aggro's off me. Get some hits in. Oh, golly. Yeah, that peg leg lightning attack that he's got. Very strong. He hits really hard. Sadly, I don't even know what my Mimic's doing. I don't know why he's not really engaging. The enemy, he's like swinging. Look at that. He's like swinging in the air. I don't know what the heck his deal is right now. He's not helping me at all right now. If I lose this again, I'm just going to summon Black Knight Tish. Because my Mimic is still swinging at the air. Basically offering no help to me whatsoever. Okay, now that the boss hit him, hopefully the Mimic will start attacking the boss. Oh, Lord. Okay. I don't know what was up with my summon there. Now he starts attacking the boss. That's wonderful. Okay. I'll give it one more go at the Mimic. Normally, I don't know what the deal is with that. I don't typically have that problem. I don't know why the Mimic... It may have been because of the Bewitching Branch. Maybe the Bewitching Branch was affecting the Mimic too. So I think I'm going to go this round without the Bewitching Branches because I don't know what the deal was there. I'm still going to use them. I don't know. These guys are hard to kill. There we go. Got the first one. Yeah, Mimic is still... Look at that. That's not a result of the Bewitching Branches. That is purely the Mimic just being dumb. His AI is broken right now. This other one's almost dead, so I don't need a Bewitching Branch on him. All right. See what happens here, guys. There you go. Looks like the Mimic's attacking him now, which is good. He's out of breath. There we go. Now that my Mimic's doing what he's supposed to be doing, this is going a lot better. All right, here we go. We are done here, guys. Ugh. That was not as smooth as I hoped that it would go, but whatever. We got our trophy. We killed the boss. We are good. Okay, so level up. Put this one into mind. Get some extra FP. And up here. The main thing that we came here for. We got the second half of the Halig Tree Medallion. Okay. So, technically we can go there right now. The next main thing I'm going to do actually is take out Crumbling Farum Azula, and then we're going to go to the secret part of the map. But we're done here in Castle Sol. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to do the solution for that puzzle, which is actually on this bridge right here. So we're going to warp back to this side of Grace and then head that direction to get our loot for solving the painting. Yeah, that was really bizarre. Why the mimic was not even engaging the boss. It was just swinging at the air. That was really weird. And it cost me one of those attempts. Because you wouldn't attack the boss. This giant skeleton just kind of run past him. And right here is where we want to go. And our reward is the Great Hood. This increases your faith and intelligence at the expense of HP. So what we're going to do now is we're going to finish off Bock's quest, and that's going to be the end of this episode. And the reason, again, why I'm doing this now is because once you beat Farum Azula, Bock's quest will be locked out. So I want to make sure that I finish his quest line before I do the rest of Farum Azula. So now that I have the General Radahn armor in my inventory, or what you need is any demigod's any demigod's armor. I have this option here that I can pick that I was not able to pick before.
Master, my apologies. Your wardrobe includes the garb of the old demigods, and I'm afraid I can't make adjustments to them. My mum told me once that a royal seamster would do them up in a jiffy. Just wait, Master. Before long, I'll be that good too.
So now we can give him the gold sewing needle, which again, we got this way back in the Church of Vows a long time ago.
For my undeserving self, thank you kindly. But what on earth could it... Oh, amazing. I've never seen a golden needle. Not in all my life. With a spectacular royal crest to boot. Are you certain that this is for me? Oh, I can hardly believe it. Have faith in me, Master. I'll polish my craft enough that I deserve this golden gift. I'll be the golden seamster, Bock. Now I'll be able to sew anything. Even the threads of the demigods.
Okay, now he's got a bunch of extra dialogue options that we're going to go through.
Master, may I ask you something? Would you mind if I called you Lord? I heard that you and the other Tarnished seek the throne of the Elden Lord. Well, I know that you will be the one, and you'd make just the manner of kind-hearted Lord that I'd wish for. So please, if you would, allow me to call you Lord. You don't say. Thank you. Thank you, my lord, my lord, my lord. Please become Elden Lord, and please let I, Bock the Seamster, remain at your side. Do you think that Mum would be pleased if she knew that I'm as good as any royal seamster now? Oh, it's still not enough. I need to learn how to sew from scratch like her. My lord, have you ever wished you might be born again? Well, they say that Renala of Rea Lucaria has the power to help people be reborn. Oh, me? Reborn? Oh, look at me. When you're this ugly, well, being reborn, it would hardly make a difference, I'm afraid.
Okay, so now you have a branch in his quest. You can give him a larval tear, which will allow him to go back to Renala and respec himself. If he does that, I believe he actually dies, and I think it ends his quest line, or at least if nothing else, he becomes unresponsive. And so that's not the good ending to his quest, I believe. I think the best ending to his quest is if you do this. So do not give him a larval tear. What you can do is you can use this You're Beautiful thing that we have. And we got this a long time ago. When we use it, I'm going to show you where we got it from, just in case you don't remember.
You're beautiful.
So say that to him, and he actually hears it. Where we picked this up from is way over here on Mount Gelmir. There was a town. It may have been this hermit village that we got it from, I think. It was one of these towns around Seathwater Village. I'm pretty sure it was that, or Seathwater River. I'm pretty sure it was this hermit village that we got it from. Because I don't see anywhere else that we would have really been able to pick it up from. So I'm pretty sure it was here, and it was a pickup on the side of one of the houses in here. And so you can use that on him, and it'll say, "You're beautiful." And then he hears that, and if you talk to him again, you can say that he'll acknowledge that he heard this voice.
Did I just hear my mum speaking? Thank you very much. Mum was always the only one who said I was beautiful. And now, my dear Lord, let me hear her voice. Ah, please, if I may dream just once, do you feel the same way my mum did, my lord? Do you think I'm beautiful, despite these looks? Oh, my lord, my dear lord, I, Bock the seamster, am forever in your service. May the throne of Elden Lord be yours.
All right, so that's the happy ending for Bock. Tell him he's beautiful, just the way he is. And now he'll be in your service forever. So anyway, that's it for Bock. In the next episode, we're going to pick things right back up here at Crumbling Farum Azula. And we're going to carry on with the story path, charging on towards the end of the game. So just a little bit about what's going to happen next. So we're going to do this entire area. Then after that, we're going to go up here, unlock this section of the map, do this entire area. And then after that, it's going to be time for the end of the game. So we are charging on towards the end game here, folks. So we are closing in, and we're getting there. We're getting there. It's been a fun journey so far. And I can imagine it's probably going to be 6, 7, maybe 8 more episodes tops. But we'll see after all said and done. So anyways, thank you guys so much for following me on this journey. Really appreciate each and every one of you. Hope you all have a great day. Take care, and I will see you next time.